Hello, good morning, everybody. Welcome all of you to this lecture on writing resumes. It's a very interesting topic, and I'm sure you'll find it engaging, you'll find it interesting, and I would expect you to be very proactive and participate in the group discussions. I will be asking questions to you, you will be solving those questions, and we'll have a good discussion on writing resumes today for 2 sessions and 1 session for tomorrow. Yeah. So let's begin with the lecture for today. And uh, before we begin, let me tell you that uh, we have prepared some PowerPoint presentation, and the source of information what I've got is from our ICA training material, uh, Wikipedia, obviously, some internet websites, and my own material. So let me give you a brief background about myself. First of all, I'm a chartered accountant, Jaideep Barve. I'm also a professionally qualified cost and works accountant from India. Did my graduation in commerce, and recently I have qualified as an independent director from the IICA. These are my Indian qualifications. Apart from this, I am also a certified internal auditor, certified management accountant, and certified in financial management from the USA. In all, I've got about 29 years of professional work experience, both in India and overseas. I worked in diversified work environments in different positions. Uh, Currently, I'm practicing on my own. But my passion, if you ask me, is to create and develop entrepreneurs. I'm a regular faculty and speaker at various forums. Uh, if I do not do all the above, like doing my practice or being a visiting faculty or speaking at different forums, uh, you might find me happy either writing. By the way, I've finished 3 books. I've written lots of articles. I also am into theater. I'm a quiz master, and I'm a real foodie by the heart. So this was a brief introduction about myself, and let's go and start with our lecture for today. Since this is a lecture, I would not be able to see your faces, but some rules of the session is that let's communicate, let's chat, let's discuss, let's share our experiences. And rather than just having a monologue from me, I would expect that we have a healthy dialogue between all of us. Okay, so I'm going to ask you a few questions, right? I'm going to ask you some few questions. And the first thing is, what is a resume? What is a resume? So anybody can just type in the chat window, what is a resume? So I'll be able to see. Yeah, what is a resume? Please type in the chat window. Let me see what kind of answers I'm getting. What is a resume? Yeah, please type in the chat window, students. Okay, I can see people have logged in, but I need to see some answers as well. What is a resume? Can anybody tell me? Please type. Please feel free. You're all students, so you should keep on exchanging your ideas. What is a resume? Okay, where are the answers? Yeah, I can see few people logged in, but I'm not able to see the answers as yet. What is a resume? Please type in whatever you know about a resume. Please type in. Okay. Yeah, I need some more answers. Yeah, personal information document. That's what Mayur is writing. It's a personal information document. Okay. What else? Manoj Madichetty is saying it's details of persons. Sarthak Agarwal is saying when we have to apply for a job, we need to provide all relevant information about ourselves. So we write a resume to the potential employer. Good. Mayur is again saying personal information document. Bhumika is saying resume is a document, shows introduction of myself. Correct. I'm going to take 2 more answers. Samir Singh is saying resume tells you about the applicant's qualifications to get selected for the vacant post. Okay, and last one I'm taking is Ankit Kumar Mishra is saying resume is a detailed data and document that introduces someone. Fair enough. Very nice attempt, students. Very nice attempts. So I'll tell you in a very simple language. A resume is a document that provides information about you. Very simply put, a resume is a document that provides information about you, right? Now, you might be a job seeker, you might be a student, you also might be an experienced professional. So you are going to write this document called resume, which is going to be your selling weapon, which is going to help you sell yourself to the prospective employer. So the advantage is that if you write a good resume, the prospective employer will feel interested in calling you for the interview. So resume is a document that provides information about you, right? A resume is a document that provides information about you, right? And I'll ask you another question. Should your resume be in oral or written mode? Should it be oral or written mode? Okay, students. Should a resume be in oral or in a written mode? Come on, quickly type in. Okay. Can a resume be in oral or a written format? Come on, quickly give your answers. I have not yet seen any answer from you. Okay, any answers? Resume should be in what format? What format? Okay, people are writing, right? Lovely. So Sarthak is saying, Sarthak, Ajitab, Ankit, Barna, Kojema, Bhumika. Very good. Very many people are saying it should be in written format. Oral resume will not work. Okay. Can I give you another example? Can a resume be also in a video format? Nowadays, LinkedIn is giving you an online format of resume, whereas YouTube is giving you a format for video of resume. So can you also have a video resume format? Video. YouTube is giving it to you. So technology has changed us, right? So earlier it was only written, right? So nowadays you can also have a video format for a resume. Okay. So let's go on to the next question, guys. Let's go on to the next question. How long should be your resume? How long should be your resume? How many pages? 1 page, 5 pages, 10 pages? How many? How long should a resume be? Quick. What's your best answer for that? How long your resume should be? Yeah. Any answers? Okay, people are writing. Vidhi is saying 2 pages. Rishabh is saying 1 or 2, half of the page. Sabir is saying, Yanesh is saying 2 or 3 pages. Ankit is saying 1 page. Fine, fair enough. So let's put it in this way that resume should not be very short. Resume should not be very long. So 2 to 3 pages should be fine enough for any person to read and get the information what he needs for writing and conveying it to the prospective employer. Good. So let's go to the next question. Let's go to the next question. Is it necessary to use a specific language for resume? एक कोई specific language है resume के लिए? Can you mix languages? Can you start in Hindi? Can you continue in English? Can you end in any other language? Or there should be one specific language uniformly used for writing a resume? Okay, my question was, can you mix your languages when you're writing a resume, or it should be one consistent specific language? Simple English. Okay, no, only one language. Samir is saying no, only one language. Yes. Sarthak is saying it should be in same formula. Yes. So whatever language you take, do not mix languages while writing your resume. Have one specific English language or any one specific language. Yeah. Let's go to the next question, guys. Let's go to the next question. What are the different names of a resume? Resume, does it have similar words, right? Or can we call resume by any other name? Resume is what we are talking about. Is it called by any other name? Okay, I'm getting some answers now. Okay, somebody's saying CV. Okay, somebody's saying job application. Well, CV is correct. Job application is applying for the job. So CV is right. Resume is another name. Is there any other name? Do you guys know about a word called biodata? So biodata is also a name for a resume. Okay, fair enough. Let's go to the next question. Let's go to the next question. Okay, now, once you make a resume, is your job done? Once you make a resume, is your job done? क्या करना होता है उसके बाद में? Any guesses? Any guesses? Once you write a resume, what is the next step? Is your job done? What do you have to do? Okay, so somebody's adding covering letter, correct? No, we have to send it for the interview. We have to send to various employers, proofreading, it's interview's choice. So a lot of answers. Now, what happens is that let me tell you what answer we are expecting, right? So you have prepared your resume. Now, what you have to do is that you have to select the companies or choose the companies where you have to work with. Now, what happens is that there will be advertisements in the newspapers, advertisements on different job portals, advertisements in different campuses. Now, they would have their own requirements. So, what you have to do is that you have to prepare a covering letter which is commensurate with the requirements. The covering letter should be also prepared, and both the covering letter and the resume should be sent to the prospective employer. Okay, so let's go to the next question, guys. Let's go to the next question. Okay, now can anybody tell us? Can anybody just tell us what are the different formats of a resume? What are the different formats of a resume? This question is a little bit difficult, but I will try to tell you now, and we are going to talk about it in a detailed manner in either this lecture or subsequent lectures. So there are three formats of a resume. There are three formats of a resume. One is a chronological format. It's a chronological format. What is a chronological format? It will give details about your work history. It will give details about your education, and in a particular order, in the reverse order, you have to state. So starting with your latest education to your earliest education, you have to write. Starting with your latest job to your earliest job, you have to write details. So it gives a pattern. It gives pattern. So that is a chronological format of resume. The other second one is called a functional format of a resume. Functional. So over there, you don't have to write about your history of all your jobs, history of all your education. What you have to do is that you have to write a functional resume, meaning all the skills, abilities, expertise that you are having. You have to place it on your resume and try to sell yourself by that abilities and skills. So you have to say that you are well versed in computers, or you are extremely good in presentation skills or analytical and reporting skills. So that's a functional resume. And the last is a combination format. What is a combination format? It will combine the functional as well as the combination. Now, why combination is useful is because the candidate, he gets a chance to talk about his work history, to talk about his work, education, to also talk about skills, abilities, and expertise. So last thing is the combination format resume. We will be discussing all these three types of resume, formats of resume after a while. So let's go to the next section, and I'm just going to try to tell you. So basically, after discussing all this, a resume should tell the prospective employer who you are. So who you are, a brief information about yourself, number one. What have you studied? Okay, your education. Where have you worked? Your work experience. What have you accomplished? Have you got any prizes? Have you got any awards? Have you achieved any targets? What are your skills? And why should they hire you? So if you're able to convey the answers of all these questions in your resume, your resume is a surefire winner. The chances of you being called for an interview will be higher, because the interviewer is obviously going to be impressed, because you're going to give concise details about yourself, where you've studied, what you've worked, your accomplishments, your skills, and the reason why they should hire you. So having said that, now let's go and solve exercise one. So all of your students of the CA Institute. So what I'm going to ask you is that, based on what all these discussions, what you have, just write a brief resume about your own self, right? So each of you in the chat window, please write down your resume. The time is 11:20 now, so I'll give you about 15 minutes, and you are expected to write your resume. Whatever you have understood till now, whatever other thoughts in your mind, Please put it in that resume. I would like to see your answers in the chat window. So I'm going to give you about 15 minutes. The time is 11:20 now. So at 11:35, I will start checking your answers. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. The time starts now. Yeah, Parth. Hello. Yeah, Parth. हेलो. नहीं, वो क्या है, मैंने उनको अभी कुछ लिखने के लिए बोला है. आई हैव गिवन देम असाइनमेंट, सो दे विल सॉल्व एंड देन आई चेक. So we can keep it off, right? The screen. Hello. We can't keep the screen off, is it? But then they are solving it in the meantime. Yeah, Parth. नहीं, बिकॉज आप बोल रहे हो, नहीं तो क्या ऑन रखने से कुछ नहीं. मतलब आई हैव गिवन देम एक्सरसाइज, सो वो लोग अभी सॉल्व कर रहे हैं. तो फिर क्या करो अभी? हेलो. हाँ, 10 मिनट्स क्या हुआ? हाँ, 10 मिनट का ब्रेक टाइम रखिए. Okay, I can see some good responses. Hira Hussain, she's saying date of birth, language is known. She's writing permanent address, good. Okay. Phone number, Sarthak Agarwal, name, father's name. Okay. But Hira, you could have written about your educational qualifications also, right? Uh, Sarthak, okay, references you are giving. You are giving about information about hobbies also. Okay, good attempt. Sarvesh Kode is giving his name, date of birth, qualifications, good. He's giving his information about skills, languages known, and contact details. Good attempt. Jnanesh Ingle, another one, I'm checking it now. He's saying name and address, educational qualifications, right? And he's talking about his skills also. Uh, okay, fine, good one, Danesh. Mayur Chandge is writing about his education, very good. He's writing about his skills. He's giving information about his personal details, and okay, and he's giving a declaration that everything is correct. Okay. Kojema is talking about, like he's writing about his name, address, email ID, very nice. Email ID should have been returned. He's writing about objective, very good. Uh, he's giving information about his date of birth, marital status, fine. And with a declaration, okay. I'm going to see, there are lots and lots of responses. I'm just going to see two more. One is Ankit Kumar Mishra. So Ankit Kumar is giving writing about his objective. He's talking about his experience. He's talking about his personal details. Okay, Ankit, good attempt. And the last one I'm going to check is Priyanka. And Priyanka is writing about her education. And she's also giving some good references about the principal of her school and declaration. Fine. So more or less, what people have attempted is that name is must, right? Your address is must, your contact number, your email ID. That is must, because otherwise people will not be able to trace you. So every resume will have these details: name, address, email ID, and telephone number. That's for sure. It is also good to write the objective. Some people have attempted the objective, that what you want to do, because all of you are students. So I'm not expecting any lofty objectives as a job seeker, but as a student, what you want to do. Then some information about your education, if you worked anywhere, some information about your experience, some skills what you have had, and personal details. So more or less people have got it right, and we have not yet come to any other section, but this was the first exercise, and people got it very nice. Okay, so congratulations. We'll just go to the next one. So I'll just give you one brief sentence. So it is not only important what you say, it is not only important what you say, but also how you say, right? How you say. So content is important. But presentation is also important. Why? Because just like you, there will be thousands and thousands of job seekers, thousands and thousands of professional experts, thousands and thousands of students. Everybody wants a job. Everybody wants to market themselves. So it is not only important आपको क्या कहना है, but also important how you say. आप कैसे बोलते हो? How you are presenting it. Why? Because out of so many applications, out of so many resumes received, the number of people being called for an interview are very few, and you should be one of them. So for that, your resume should be like that. Okay, it should be so appealing, right? So हर एक resume का एक तो objective रहता है, main objective. What is that? That it should convince the employer that you are worth interviewing. It should not be general. It should be to the core, specific. It should be able to convince employer कि अच्छा, you are good enough. Please call him for the interview. Let's interview him. So what you have to do is that you have to give a neat, clear, concise summary of all your relevant qualifications, skills in a good format, presentable format that proves your ability to handle the work, so that your chances of getting more interviews are higher, right? Okay. Now I'll ask you one question. question. Should your resume disclose all the things about you? Okay. Should your resume disclose all the things about you? Chalo bolo. Write in your chat window. Should your resume disclose all the things about you? Okay. Can I see your answers? Should your resume... Okay, I've got only one answer. Priyanka is saying no. Very good. Priyanka, very good. Is there any other answer? Should your resume disclose all the things about you? All the things? Priyanka is saying no. The answer is correct. Then Kushagranath Tiwari is saying only the relevant information. Manisha is saying, okay, only things relevant to the job. Very good. Ajita is saying not necessarily all. Jasprit is also agreeing. Samir is saying, no, sir, only education qualifications. No, Samir, it is not only education qualifications. It can also contain information about your skills, right? About, objective, what you want to do. So it is not only education qualification, it also includes other things also. My question was, should it include all the things? But some of them have written it very nicely that only relevant things, right? Okay. So only relevant, pertinent details, right, should be shown on a resume. Okay. So there is no need for any prospective employer to know everything about you. In 3 pages, 2 or 3 pages, it is impossible, right? It is impossible. If you want to write everything about you, it will take 10 pages, 12 pages. So आपको 2-3 pages में वो बिठाना है. So what you need to show them or what you need to tell them is that how you are suited for the job. What you need to show or tell them is that how you are suited for the job. That is, you possess the necessary skills, you possess the necessary knowledge, understanding, and your personal traits are fit for the job. Therefore, it is of extreme importance that you choose what you have to write in your resume. सब कुछ लिखने का नहीं है, सब कुछ लिखने का नहीं है. Choose करो, select करो only that information which will appeal to the prospective employer for calling you to the interview. So when you're writing your resume, pick out those skills that are most suitable for the job. So content अच्छा करो. Secondly, present them in such a manner that allows the employer to understand easily, right? So no need of all information, only pertinent information, only relevant information, how you are best suited for the job. Okay, so there's a famous author called Will Rogers. There is a famous author called Will Rogers. You know what he's saying? You never get a second chance. You never get a second chance to make a first impression. You never get a second chance to make a first impression. First impression is very important. Do it right the first time. Your resume is your document about yourself. Do it right. Do it right. You will never get a second chance to resend your resume. एक बार resume अपनी भेज दिया तो already impression बन चुका होता है. So make sure that your resume is right, is correct, it is accurate, it contains the right relevant details. As it is rightly said that you never get a second chance to make a first impression. Okay, So make the best impression. How you will make the best impression? Write good content, present it properly. Write good content, present it properly. Why? Because job market is extremely competitive. Job market is extremely competitive. Hence, it is necessary that your resume makes an impression and gives you the best possible chance of getting or seeking the prospective employee's attention. Fair enough? Okay. Let's go to the next uh, topic. Covering letter. Covering letter. Right? एक तो resume बन गया आपका. You written your resume. So resume, let's say, is about 2 to 3 pages, right? Now, just sending a resume won't mind. Why? Because you are going to introduce yourself. You have to show to that prospective employer that you have read about the job requirement, you read about the advertisement, you know something about the company, and that's why you are going to, like give a snippet of the resume in the covering letter. So every resume should have a covering letter. Why? Because covering letter to carrier hai. Without a covering letter, resume is incomplete. So what does a covering letter do? It will reflect your knowledge about the prospective employer. Your knowledge. Suppose you get a call from Tata Housing, right? About a job of an accountant. So basically, you have to show to them that, okay, you are knowing about Tata Housing. You are knowing about the job requirement of an accountant. You know what has made you apply for the job. How interested are you in? So basically, आपको क्या लिखने का है? You have to show to them that you know something about them. You are attaching your resume and you feel you are the best possible person for the job. Okay. So since this is the first correspondence you are going to have with your prospective employer, a covering letter should be neat. It should be concise. ऐसा नहीं कि कवरिंग लेटर 3 पेजेस होगा. आपका रेज्यूमे अगर 2 to 3 pages है तो कवरिंग लेटर will be just about 2 or 3 paragraphs. So it should be neat, it should be concise, it should be well written without any grammatical errors. So if you write a good covering letter, it will increase your chances of being shortlisted and subsequently called for an interview. Okay, fair enough. So covering letter क्या होता है? Covering letter is a letter which is addressed to the prospective employer, right? It will talk briefly about you. It will talk about, the vacancy which is being offered, and it will draw that person's prospective employer's attention to your resume. So it should be neat, it should be concise, it should be well written. Now, what happens is that all these job portals or any of these, campus interview placement boards or in newspapers, they will give you advertisements, right? They will talk about the job vacancy. So you're going to send 2 things to them. One, a resume. Resume should be preceded and attached with a covering letter, right? So what I'm going to write is that you are going to address to the prospective employer. If you know the name of the person whom you're going to write to the covering letter as, so say like Mr. XYZ of PQR Limited, write his address, begin with, a salutation like, hello, Mr. ABC, and say that with reference to your post in Naukri.com or Jobstreet.com for the position of dash, let's say an accountant, please find attached my resume. Then you can talk, about yourself very briefly. You can say that I'm a commerce graduate from Mumbai University. I've also done my tally accounting course from so-and-so institute. And you've got about 2 years of experience in manufacturing companies, for example. And you have to then close it. You have to say that, please review it and let you know in case you have any questions. And the final thing is that you have to end it very politely and give your regards to that person. So fair enough. So this is the way you're going to structure your covering letter. I'm going to give you about, let's say, 2 12 minutes. It's to 11:48. I'm going to give you an exercise. I'm going to give you an exercise to write a covering letter, to write a covering letter for the job of accounts executive, for the job of accounts executive at ABC Private Limited, Mumbai. So आपको क्या करने का है? You have to write a covering letter addressed to the HR department at ABC Private Limited, Mumbai, and you are applying for the job of accounts executive. Fair enough. So I am giving you some time to write it. Please use a chat window and write a good covering letter, and I will see your responses at 12 noon. Okay. All the best, children. Okay, time is up. Okay, the time is up. I'm going to check answers now. Okay, so Manisha is, like she's saying the HR department, ABC Limited, she's giving a subject very good. And then she's talking about, advertisement for accounts executive. And okay, fine. So she's giving a good, good one, Manisha. Yeah, I think you did a very good attempt. Gyanesh Shingle is also, I'm checking his reply. So he's beginning with the date, he's addressing to subject, okay, reference advertisement. I wish to. Okay, fine. Gyanesh also very good attempt. Kojima, okay, reference to advertisement. Yeah, giving brief information. Okay, Kojima has done a good job. Bhumika, okay. By and large, I'm just going to check the last two now. By and large, everybody's having it good one. So Kushagranath Tiwari, I'm seeing he's giving his address and he's writing to ABC, giving a subject. Fine. Okay, Kushagra also has done a good job. And the last one I'm going to check is Mayur Change. And Mayur is writing to the HR manager. Fine, fair enough. So I think everybody's understood that how to write a good covering letter. Now we will be going to the next analysis. That एक तो हम लोग ने decide कर लिया कि resume लिखने का है and then covering letter लिखने का है. But resume, how do we write it? Okay, we know, right, what all should be included in the resume. We know what are the paragraphs and all that. But some tips on like how to do a effective resume, right? So the first one is before you draft your resume, it is necessary you do a SWOT analysis. SWOT, SWOT. So S is strengths, right? S is strengths. W is weaknesses. O is opportunities. And T is threats. So SWOT analysis matlab kya? Do your analysis of SWOT. S stands for strengths, W stands for weaknesses, O stands for opportunities, T stands for threats. Followed? Now, when you classify as a person, when you classify your strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats, right? So what happens is that which are internal to you as a person are strengths and weaknesses, right? You have your own strengths, you have your own weaknesses. So strengths and weaknesses are internal. What is opportunity? Opportunity तो बाहर की होती है ना. So opportunity is external. What is threat? Internal or external? External, right? So when you classify strengths, when you want to talk about strengths and weaknesses, opportunities, threats, decide that, and come to a conclusion that your strengths and weaknesses are inherent to you, they're intrinsic to you, they're internal, whereas opportunities and threats are external to you, right? Now, when you talk about strengths, right? These are helpful for your objective. Right? आपके मन में कुछ objective है. You have got some objective in your mind. Your strengths will help you to achieve that objective. So strengths are helpful. What about weaknesses? Weaknesses are not helpful. Weaknesses are harmful for the achievement or the accomplishment of your objectives. Followed? Strengths are internal. Weaknesses are internal. But strengths are helpful for your objectives. Weaknesses are harmful for your objectives. Let's talk about opportunities and threats. Opportunities and threats, we know they are external. But if you tap the opportunities and use it to your advantage, your objectives will be met. So they are helpful for accomplishing your objectives. Opportunities, if you tap them properly, will be helpful to achieve your objectives. What are threats? Threats are external factors but they are harmful for your objectives. So you have to be very clear. You have to be very clear what are your strengths, what are your weaknesses, what are opportunities, and what are your threats. Once you have this picture in mind, then you should start writing your resume. आपको अगर resume में क्या दिखाना है कि how you are going to utilize your strengths, how you are going to leverage the opportunities, how you are going to make the best use of your strengths, make the best use of the opportunities given, and how you are going to be the best asset for the prospective employer. So resume में जब भी लिखते हो आप strength और opportunities में आप capitalize करते हो. What happens for weakness and threats? They give you a reality check. They give you a reality check as to where you stand, vis-a-vis the others. It will also help you to identify the aspects which you really need to improve in order to steer ahead of others. Weaknesses and threats आपने एनालाइज किया तो सिर्फ एनालिसिस के बाद खत्म नहीं होती एक्टिविटी. It gives you a reality check to know where you are standing vis-a-vis the others. It will also enable you to identify the points of improvement so that you can get ahead of the others, right? So आपको resume लिखने के पहले सबसे पहले SWOT का analysis करने का है. So once this analysis over, what do you have to do? Just highlight your abilities, highlight your skills, highlight your strengths in the resume, right? Then you can map your qualities vis-a-vis the requirements which are posted in the advertisement, right? If the advertisement is saying that they need a well-skilled and trained accounting resource, so you can say that one of your strengths is accounting strength or auditing strength, or you are very good in number crunching, and so it will be helpful for the organization. So make sure you do a good SWOT analysis, right? Now let's come to the next exercise. I'm going to give you an exercise. I'm going to give you an exercise and ask you to do a SWOT analysis, SWOT analysis of your own self. So let's regroup in about 7 minutes of time. आप खुद का SWOT analysis करो. आप खुद का SWOT analysis वो chat window में आप लिखिए. Yeah, let's regroup in 7 minutes of time. All the best, children. Hello. Yeah, वो test दिया है. 3 minutes more. I am giving them lots of tests to do, so they are solving in the meantime. So I've given them 3 more minutes because otherwise they will remain silent. No, they are solving now. So 3 more minutes. Okay. Kushakra is saying strength is accounts, debating, swimming, basketball. Quick learning. Weakness is mathematics, anger issues, opportunities, legal understanding, motivated working, threats, infinity complex, trusting convex. Okay. Strength wins class. Ankit is saying, no, Ankit, you can say, what are your strengths? You just cannot say 10th or 12th pass out. You can talk about, like your skills like analysis skills in analysis or debates or reasoning or presentation, right? Or leadership skills, weaknesses, opportunities, threats. Okay. Ankit, you have to do it again, in my opinion. Bhumika is saying strength is hardworking nature, good listener, patience. Weakness, she's saying art and craft and handwriting. She's not written about opportunities and threats. Kojima is writing about strength. He's writing out weaknesses, opportunities, threat. Okay, fine. Uh, Mayur is saying strength is sportsman, as a cricketer. Weakness is that He's talking about weaknesses in terms of cricket. Okay, fine. So fair enough. So all this was from a personal point of view, and but when it comes to like since you're writing a resume, it should not be only your personal things, but also from a professional outlook. So like what would your strengths be like? Your analysis skills, presentation, reasoning, or like good in debates, good in reading, good in interpersonal skills. You're good in leadership skills. Weaknesses can be like there are lots of like things areas like income tax or GST where you do not have much of exposure, or your English or any language skills might be weaker. Opportunities is that there are a lot of courses for you like valuation course or a risk management course or IB course, so where you can like augment your own abilities. And threats can be for a student, it can be like the evolvement of so many evolution in the changing laws uh, happening every day. So it is becoming very difficult for you to keep abreast of all the happenings. And so plus like what is happening is that technology is changing day and day. So maybe that's also a threat for like people who would be doing work in a very orthodox or traditional way. So let's get on to the next section. We have done our SWOT. We have written a covering letter. We have written a resume also, right? We have written a resume also. So let's go on to the next session, right? Okay, let's go on to the next session. So as we have discussed earlier, there are three types of resume. One, chronological format of resume. Chronological is what? In one order of time, order of date, right? So the first format of a resume is chronological format of resume. Now, this is the most commonly used format, right? So what does it have? It starts with your introduction, summary or objective, then lists your most recent education, most recent work history, both of them in a reverse chronological order. Matlab kya? What does it mean? Your most recent education is at the top, then the second most recent, then it goes down, and then the last will be your earliest education, right? So most recent will be at the top, education. Most recent work history will be at the top. So it will follow an order, descending order. Most recent will be in a reverse chronological order, descending order, right? Now, what does it do? It helps you to put emphasis on your job titles, emphasis on your employment history. So it talks about like where you worked, which capacities you work for, what were your roles. So you're able to demonstrate that you have worked for, let's say, in 12 different companies in 12 different roles, and you've risen from the bottommost cadre of, let's say, an accounts clerk, and now you are the vice president of finance. So it also talks about your employment history, what kind of work you've done throughout your companies. Normally, this is very suitable for people with a variety of different experience levels and people who have not had stop gaps in their career. So people who have had a consistent career without any breakages or interruptions in that career, or people with different experience levels tend to use this format, which is a chronological format, right? So chronological format is, again, I'm repeating, one of the most commonly used format. It will start with your introduction, summary, objective. It will list your most recent education, and then it will go down in descending order to the earliest education. It will also list out your most recent work experience, go down, to the earliest work experience. So everything is arranged in a reverse chronological order. The emphasis is on the job titles. The emphasis is on employment history. Here, the candidates are having plenty of work experience. They have worked throughout. They do not have much of interruptions in their career. So rather than focusing on skills, it gives importance, or it places emphasis on job titles, and your employment history. So student also can use chronological or resume format, and a job applicant also can use a chronological format. So both of them can use, right? So if you're now all of your students, so what will you write in the chronological resume format? You will write your name, obviously, contact details. Contact details will be having your address, your email ID, and your cell phone number for sure. So we also make sure that you have created your LinkedIn profile. Make a mention of your LinkedIn profile in your contact details. Why? Because the LinkedIn profile is a very professional platform, so people tend to use it, and job seekers or as well as job providers regularly visit LinkedIn for employment opportunities or for scouting candidates, right? So name, contact details. Third is objective summary. What you want to do in your career. You're a student, so chronological resume format आपको लिखने का है. So आपको objective summary में लिखना है कि what you have to achieve, what you are aiming for your life, right? Then you will talk about all your academic qualifications. So if you have just cleared your 12th standard, you'll give marks about 12th standard or marks about 10th standard, right? Any achievements you have done, write it down in a reverse manner, right? Reverse chronological order. Talk about your achievements both in the professional as well as the co-curricular fields. Have you attended any training programs? Have you completed any training programs? What are your strengths? You can write about strengths. What are your interests, your hobbies? Do you have any skills? And finally, you end with your personal details, like information about your immediate family. You can write about, like your birth date. You can write about, you've traveled to different countries. So this is what is expected if you are a student and you're going to write a chronological resume in your exam papers. So you start with name, contact details, objective summary, academic qualifications, academic achievements, any achievements in the co-curricular front, any training programs you've attended or completed, what are your strengths, what are your hobbies, interests, skills, and personal details. Suppose you're a job applicant, you're like you've spent some years in industry, right? If you spend some years in the industry and you're applying for a job, so there will be some, if you're going to write a chronological resume, right, as a job applicant. So what we will have, we will obviously have a name to आना ही है, right? Contact details आना ही है. In contact details, what you write? Your address, your cell number, your email ID, your LinkedIn reference. Next section will be your objective summary. Now, since you're a job applicant, you've worked for 2-3 years earlier, you'll write your career summary also. You can write that you've worked for 3 years as an accountant in a bank, or 3 years as a cost controller in some manufacturing company. Then you can write about all your professional experiences. Company 1, what was your title? What were your responsibilities? What were your achievements? Company 2, what was your job title? What were your responsibilities? What were your achievements? After writing about your professional work experience, come to your education details. So write about your most recent educational qualification at the top, followed by the second most recent, followed by my third most recent, to the earliest quantifiable educational qualification, right? Then write about your hobbies, interests, skills, and your personal details. So on this note, we have now spoken about, like chronological format of resume. Now, all of you are students. Okay. Now you are going to write your own resume in the chronological format. So आप क्या लिखोगे? You are going to write your name, contact details. Contact details में आप 4 चीज लिखने वाले हो. Your address, your telephone number, cell phone number, your email ID, and your LinkedIn reference if you have. Number 2, write about your objective summary. क्या करना है आपको? Number 3, write your academic qualifications. Reverse manner में write your educational qualifications in a reverse manner. Write about your achievements in professional as well as co-curricular fronts. Have you attended any training programs? Talk about your strengths. Talk about your interest, hobbies, skills, and write about your personal interests. So on this note, the time is 12:26 now. I am giving you about 15 minutes of time. So please complete, please write your chronological resume as a student. As a student, आपको chronological format में आपका resume लिखना है. Please do so. So we are going to regroup at, let's say, approximately 12:40 p.m. Yeah, all the best to you guys. Okay, guys, let's regroup. Let's regroup. Let me see your answers. Okay, let me see your answers. 1 second. Okay, can I see some answers? I have seen the first one is Kojima. He's saying objective लिखा है फिर yeah, he's writing about the objective. He's writing about his academic, date of birth, personal details. Okay. Priyanka is writing about her objective to आ रहा है. She's writing about her skills. Okay. And she has written about academic achievements also. Mayur, name and personal details, qualification, hobbies, achievements. Okay, fine. Bhumika, name and contact details. She's writing about adjective, very nice. Education details, she's saying, hobbies, fine. Okay, okay. After that, Chandan, K. Chandan Patra, chronological resume, name, address. You should also write your mobile number, K. Chandan Patra. He's writing about his education qualifications. Fine. Okay. Madhi Chetty Manoj, objective लिखा है, interests, languages. Okay. Amit Kumar, fine. Okay. So by and large, okay, we know कि हम लोगों को क्या लिखना है chronological resume. Name number 1, contact details number 2, objective summary number 3, आपके academic qualification number 4, any achievements you've done in academics or in co-curricular. 5, have you done any training programs? 6, then you write about your strengths. 7, 8 is your interests, hobbies, skills. 9 is personal details. ये सारा लिखना चाहिए अपने. By and large, you did a good attempt, children. Okay, so let's go to the next type of resume. हम लोग तो बोले कि 3 types of resume. So one is chronological format of resume. The next is functional format of resume. Functional. What is function? We are not going to talk about how many years of experience in which companies, in what title, what you've done, right? Here you are going to talk mainly about your skills, your abilities, and your accomplishments. Whatever you written in your chronological format, your titles or your work experience, that will take secondary importance in a functional format, right? Functional format में क्या है important? Your skills, your abilities, your accomplishments. So two type of people will always benefit writing functional format. Two type of people will always benefit in writing resume in functional format. One, people who have had gaps in their careers. So for example, they worked from 1990 to 1995. Then for 7 years, they didn't have a job. So they started working again in 2002. They worked for 4 years till 2006. Then they didn't have a job. And now they got a job in 2019. So 20 years, they were sitting in their house. So they were without any job. So if they write their resume in a chronological format, what will happen is that the gaps in their careers will be highlighted, right? So what do people who have gaps in their career do? They write resumes in a functional format, functional, right? So what they will do, they'll talk about their skills, they'll talk about their abilities, what they are capable of doing, what they can deliver. They'll not say what they've delivered, what are their accomplishments. They will say what are their skills, how best they are, what are their talents, what are their abilities, what is their expertise, right? So people who have had gaps in their career would tend to use the functional format of resume, right? Now, also for fresh graduates, right? Fresh graduates who do not have any employment industry, who are very new to the working atmosphere. Okay, so what do they write? They won't write anything about their work history. So the way they will say is that they will focus on the functional format resume, right? So functional format resume will not have, like year-wise history or employment-wise history. They'll be a little bit more detailed. They'll talk about, like their leadership skills. They'll talk about, like work-related skills, or maybe expertise in Microsoft Office, or, trainings done in so and so field. What is more important is to highlight all these skills, highlight abilities, highlight expertise, de-emphasize the work experience section. उसमें कम ध्यान देने का. Make the prospective employer focus on your skills. So you can use the functional format of resume, right? Now let's come to the third format of resume. Third format of resume, combination format. It is called the combination format. What is a combination format? A mixture of chronological and functional format. Combination of chronological and functional formats is done over here. So what they do, they try to have the advantages and the plus points of both the formats of resume. So they will have a sequential list of a person's employment and education history. Chronological format wo hi bolte hain. So you will have to have a list of your employment, your education history, but it will also include a dedicated section that focus on your skills, abilities, and expertise, right? So it will have a mix of both chronological format, it will have and as well as functional format. It will consist of a list of person's work history as well as his educational qualifications. It will also include a dedicated section that focuses exclusively on skills, abilities, and expertise of the person. So combine kar raha hai. So how do you structure a combination format resume? Begin with functional format, right? Talk about your skills, talk about your abilities. And then after that, you give information about your employment history. You give information about, which organizations you work for, what are the titles with the dates. So this is the way you will be writing a combination format, right? Which will include both functional as well as a chronological format of a resume, right? So we've discussed about three different types of resumes, right? Three different types of resumes. So regardless of any format, there are certain mandatory things wo aana hi aana hai, that should be included in any resume. What are there? Your obviously name, contact details, which will include your telephone number, your residential address, your mobile number, and your LinkedIn profile. Aajkal people are giving your LinkedIn profile, right? So your name, your contact information, introduction that about your professional background, your key qualifications, your career profile, what are your skills, what are your areas of expertise, right? Your work experience. So include everything, starting from the most recent to your earliest work experience. Which were the companies you work for? What were the job titles? What were the dates where you were working? What were the responsibilities you handled? Why dates are important? Because they demonstrate the longevity of that person in the job. It should not happen that the candidate or the job seeker changes jobs on a very frequent basis. From the dates, you can come to know that this person is changing jobs on a frequent basis. So he has an inconsistent pattern. He will always look at more greener pastures outside. So he will leave your company as well, right? So dates is important because, you have to give information about dates. And from the dates also, people will come to know something about you, right? Also include education details, obviously, I told you. Starting with your most recent education till your earliest education. If you've had any certifications done, any licenses you've taken, please write them. Also mention any relevant skills in software, hardware, technical skills, soft skills. Mention your skills. Mention your skills, right? So regardless of whatever format, whether it's chronological format, whether it's functional format, or whether it is a combination format, right? You have to include the following things. What are those things? One is introduction. Second is information about your own self, your name, your contact details, your telephone number, your email ID, your LinkedIn profile, brief summary about your skills, your work experience, your education experience, and any other accomplishments, major accomplishments you have done in your life so far. So I'm going to give you about 5 questions now, which are your multiple choice questions, right? And I'm going to share the screen with you. So I'm going to give you 1 minute per question, 1 minute per question, after which I'm going to change the slide, right? So let me just share my screen with you. What you have to do is that in your chat window, you are going to write the correct answer to the multiple choice question, right? So just let me just share my screen with you. Okay, is my screen visible? Is my screen visible? Okay, the first. So is my screen visible to guys? Okay, visible? Okay, fine. Okay, so give your answers in one shot. Do not give answer 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 separately. I want to see the answers in one shot. Okay, one single attempt in one single answer cell. Yeah. The first question: a resume. A resume is a document that provides information about a candidate or a prospective employee. A resume provides information about the employer. A resume provides information about the environment. A resume provides information about the business cycle. Select the best answer. Select the best answer. A, B, C, D. A, B, C, D. Okay, I'm going to the next question, guys. Select the best answer. A resume can be a documented format. A resume can be in a visual format. A resume can be in an oral format. A resume can be in a documented or a visual format. Let me go to the next question. Select the best answer. Resume should be short and crisp. Resume should be detailed. Resume should be in a diagrammatic format. Resume should be in a coded language. Resume should be short and crisp. Resume should be detailed. A resume should be in a diagrammatic format. A resume should be in a coded language. Select the best answer. Okay, let me go to the next question. Select the best answer. Resume can be in a functional format. Resume can be in a chronological format. Resume can be in a combination format. Resume can be either in a chronological or functional or combination format. Okay, let me go to the last one. Select the best answer. A covering letter should accompany a resume. Annexures to be attached to a resume. Resume should have an index. Multiple choice and questions and answers should be given along with your resume. Select the best answer. A covering letter should accompany a resume. Annexures to be attached to a resume. Resume should have an index. Multiple choice questions and answers should be given along with the resume. Please type in your answers in the chat window. So I'm stopping the screen now, stopping the sharing, and I will go back to, let me go back to the chat board. Okay. So please don't give me one by one answers. I told you to give answers in one stroke. So let me check for, I'm not going to check for everybody. Let me check for Kojima. Well, where is his answer? Okay, so Kojima 1A, 2D, 3. Check for question number 3, Kojima. 4D, 5A. Yeah, okay. 1, 2. Then I'm talking about AD. Fine. I think Hira Hussein, she's given she's given the right answers. Muhammad Ali has given the right answer. Chandan has given the right answer. Mayur has given the right answer. Okay, Bhumika, please, most of the answers were right. Yeah, except for number 3. Okay, guys, I think the time is ending now. Let's regroup at 2 p.m. for the next session on resume. Okay, take care. We'll be back in an hour's time. Goodbye. Hope you enjoyed the session. Yeah. Bye bye. Take care. See you at 2 p.m.